Yes. Okay. We're on Tes 9 on base. We're up to the third line. We're talking about Makos Prushin. That's when one gets smitten by people who have too big Talmidei Chachamim. There's a moral in that. But there's the one case of the essay was where they told a woman, told the assignment to try and buy off the woman, the Almana, for a ksuba. Another case, Chad Talmid Rebbe is also in the Bavli. One student of Rebbe, Haylam Asayim Zuz 200 Zuz Chaser Dinar, lacking a dinar. Halacha is when you become what's the poverty line in halacha? 200 zuz. If you have less than 200 zuz, you're considered to be poor. If you have 200 zuz, you're considered to be affluent enough that we can't give you tzedakah. So we have 200 zuz, minus 1 dinar. V'ava Rebbe Yoliv Zaki Mei Chad Plashani Meiser Miskinin. Rebbe was supposed to give him once every 3 years Meiser Ani. Miskin is Ani, right? So he's giving the Meiser Ani every 3 years, which will make him affluent enough to survive another 3 years, and then he give him Meiser Ani again. Chazman, 1/3 year came along, because every 3 years he give Meiser Ani. Avnei Talmudei Ein Bish. So the other students looked askance at this guy, and they gave him a zuz to give him 200 zuz. So now he had 200 zuz. So Amar Lei, so he said to Rebbe, Isli shiur, I have a shiur, I can't take him Meiser Ani anymore. So Asabai miscame. I said, Rebbe wanted to come do stuff, give him Meiser Ani. He wanted to be zeicha with him in the mitzvah of Meiser Ani. Hechmat Aviyot, as he was accustomed to doing. Amar Lei said, Rebbe, Isli shiur, I have 200 zuz, can't take. Amar, so he said, Zeh Makas Prushim Nagubo. This guy was smitten by the Talmidei Chachamim, that they made him rich enough, affluent enough that they can't give him stuck anymore. Rambam's Talmidim, so he alluded to his students, Va'alinu Nekipilin, they took him into a butcher store, the Chasrine Chadkaret, and they made him pay some money to buy meat, and therefore he was less than 200 zuz again. The Zachi Mehech Tabiyot, and he gave him money as used in the past.
So it means that shows that the standard for the tzedakah level is cash. It's not in kind.
What? It's cash.
Yeah, because you have to go to the butcher shop. Theoretically, he has 200 zuz worth of things, but cash plus in kind.
Right. It has to be wealth of 200 zuz. Right, in the bank.
Cash, right.
Right. You have to have those 200 zuz. Not assets, right? Because he had meat, right? So which he bought for it. So he would have to. Or maybe he just ate it right away quickly or something like that. That way he would have lost it. So maybe it's not a riot. Maybe it is also property. But I think that is actually liquid 200 zuz. I'm not sure about that. I don't remember. Anyway, Hosifu Aleim, they added on bad people to our Mishnah. Besula Tzaimonis. A Besula who fasts too much. It's interesting. The Bavli, the Girsa is Tzailonis, that she davens too much. But here it's Tzaimonis, that she fasts too much. It's different meaning. There she davens too much, and she davens things which are not suitable to daven. But here it's Mitzaima Ovda Besula. She fasts and she loses her Besulim. Because by fasting, I guess, you lose blood. So that way you lose your blood besulim. V'amana shovivis. Well, an amana who's like what they say, a gay divorcee, right? She's a little bit mischievous. Who's me? Who's a good example of this? Chagla. They knew this. Amana Chagla. Chagla, the widow. Nasi Shem Bish, who had this bad name in the neighborhood. Now it's interesting. My Rechus Aruch, all the way to the bottom of the Gemara. The very bottom. It's a commentary called the Marechus Aruch. And for one of them, he says that she's, the first pair she gives is the same one I just gave you, that she's not snua, right? The second one he gives is an interesting one. Perush Acha, the second to last line. Shomer, she says, Chazarti b'tshuva. I did tshuva, she'eni nisei so'elam. I'm never going to get married again. Lishalti nafshi koyim echaya la'Hashem. She volunteers her entire life to God, like a nun, right? She can't withstand that. When it becomes too tough for her, Tarim, she'll be treacherous, lachto harbe, and sin a lot. A little bit of aspersions there on nunneries. All right. Says no further.
This is in Lashon Hara that they mentioned this.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I guess she was so bad, that people knew it wasn't a Lashon Hara anymore. You're right. I don't know. We don't know who she is anymore. I don't know. It's a good question. I didn't realize it was bothering me too. V'tinuk shol chadashav. Tinuk shol chadashav. The two interpretations means one of them is brought down the Bible. The second is unique for the Yerushalmi. The first one is Rabbi Chag b'Shem Simon said, "Zeshu gadol b'Torah." Shlo P'Torah. He's a gadol in Torah. but he's he's not yet quite old enough as he seems. And therefore, meaning, he's not quite up to snuff, and he mocks people who are older and wiser than he is. So the young Talmid Chacham who's brazen, and his mockery of old Talmid Chacham, that's a Tinok who goes beyond his months. Another interpretation, Rabbi Yossi, Zeshu ben Tesha, a kid who looks like he's 9 years old, who is 9 years old. Now, 9 years old means he's in his 8th year. He's not yet 9. He's under 9. And but he looks mature, so he looks like he's 12. He has rations and he writes in the Torah. They're going to be died through him because he looks like he's an adult, and therefore they're going to think these are rights of Mizaneh, right? But he's exempt because he's younger than the age of 13. So therefore, this guy is a guy who's a tinok shel chadashim. He's too precocious, and he causes other people problems. Okay, so one shas about Talmid Chacham, the other is about young lads. Okay, says the Gemara further. Rabbi Shimon Mishnah further. Rabbi Shimon Omer, Shimon says, "Ein schus toilu b'mayim amorim." Schus, even if a woman has merit, it doesn't save her. She dies anyway. Not like previous Mishnah. If you say that if a woman has a schus, it keeps her alive. You dim the value of the water in front of all women who drink. Now it's going to say, oh, I'll have a schus to keep me alive. And you bring a bad name on the Torahs who drank. They'll say, they're really tummy. And schus, but they had a schus which kept them alive temporarily. Rabbi Omer, yes, has schus toilu. It keeps the women alive. Veni Oletes, she doesn't give birth. Veni Shabachas, but she doesn't, and she doesn't get better. Elamisnavda Volechas, she gradually, what's the word? Deteriorates, good word. And goes on, so she may supposed to be. Eventually she dies of this consumptive disease, whatever would have attacked her in the Beis HaMikdash. Now this entire sugya is a fascinating sugya you're about to learn, so, and it's not in the Bavli at all. I'm here till the next Mishnah, totally not in the Bavli. Rabbi Nuna. Rabbi Nuna said, "Hamisnab," it's a big chidushim. Hamisnabnim uteres lebeisa. As she's deteriorating, she's allowed to have relations with her husband. It's an amazing thing. Why would that be, right?
She didn't die.
Well, so the thing is, she didn't die, right? Vasya kador. So the thing is, so what? But if she's deteriorating, it's in the Mishnah that it's a sign that she's a tmeya. It's just that she had schus. So I can have relations with her. So it says more, Rabbi Nuna holds Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, who's not in our Mishnah, and of course not in the Bavli, who says, even if a woman is Torah and she drank, she makes up tachluim roim. She dies also.
Oh my God.
So that was too malicious to laugh.
That defeats the whole purpose of...
Well, you're saying good. Because she put herself in a situation where she's in question. Okay, I knew you wouldn't like this. Anyway, so now, more goes on. We're not finished anywhere near finished with this yet. So it says more, and now the next more from here to the Mishnah, not quite, but almost the Mishnah, all the Mepharshim go crazy. It's a very complicated Gemara. So, needless to say, whenever there's situations like that, I come up with my own shot. And I'm proud to say, happiness is defined, this is in memory of Charles Schutz, happiness is defined as coming up with a new pshat in Yerushalmi, which has less gears or changes than anybody who came before you. And in my pshat in this Yerushalmi, I have just one gears or change, whereas everybody else basically makes, rips apart the Gemara and starts fresh. Okay, I have just one change. And I'm going to read it through, and I think it works out very nicely. Says Gemara, Vim Lodid Mo'isha. Now, we need to know this. Rabbi Nuna's thing is a tremendous chiddush. How do we know that she's muteres beis? Even though she's deteriorating, she's dying. We're allowed to have relations with her. So I tell you, Im Lodid Mo'isha U'Tairei. Says the woman is not tamei, and she's tar. What does it mean? Either she's tar or she's not tamei. It's redundant. What's the pasuk telling us, right? We know she's not Tomei, she's Torah. So it's more Zutahira. This one is Torah. Anytime she survives, she's Torah. What's the case where she's not Torah? Lo Shabolo Eidim Shitmea. The only time she's Tomei after she drinks is if Eidim come. If Eidim don't come, then she's Taka Torah. Hi. She's Misnabne Voleches. So like Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, everybody can be Misnabne Voleches. Right? It could happen to even a Kshera. So therefore, as long as Eidim didn't come, she's Torah. Right? Im lo nitma isha. Now, says Gemara further. Okay? So, im lo nitma isha Torah. If this is another addition to that drasha. Im lo nitma isha Torah, again it's redundant. Zu Tahira. This is Tahar, this woman, but lo shetolos lo schos. But not if you know that she has a schus and that's why she survived. Because then you know she's really Tmeya, but she had a schus and that's why she's surviving. So it says more, the obvious question is, how do we know which one is surviving because of the schus, and how do we know which one is surviving not because of the schus? So it says more, V'asi command Omer, this last verse is going to, according to Mar, that a schus toilet, and here's my one change. This ve'ena I'm going to put into the next line. It seems that the Gemara, there was a man Omer, it's machlokas. If a woman has a schus toilet, can I tell she dies differently than a woman who's that was tar as dying because of Rabbi Shimon's concept? Okay, so this actually answers the question of Rabbi Nuna. Rabbi Nuna held, according to this line, the Gemara, that we can tell when a woman's surviving because she's at a schus, or a woman surviving and dying because she was tahar, but any tahar also dies eventually from having drunk in the waters. So like that man damar, so we say, when do I say he lo nitmo tahora he, whatever language the pasuk goes, lo nitmo isha utahara he, I say any woman who no Eidim have come, and I know that she's not surviving because of a schus, because that's nicker, that woman is Torah. Hi, she's dying too, but she's dying innocently, not dying out of guilt. Okay? So it says Mara, okay, that's nice. But what about Baram Command Amar Haschus Toilav Eino Nikers? Again, this is my one change. What about the man who says you can't tell? Then Rabbi Nun is difficult again. How can we allow him to cohabit if I can't tell which woman is surviving because it's chusum, which is not? So how do I know why this woman is surviving, right? Rabbi Yitzchak says, Kenanu Kayomi. Says more, this is how we have to dash in the pasuk. Kishav Enachanami, according to Madamar, Schus Toil of Einon Nikeres, we can't allow any woman who deteriorates. And Rabbi Nuna's halacha cannot work. Rabbi Nuna's halacha can only work according to the opinion that holds we can tell which woman deteriorates and which woman does. I mean, which woman is deteriorating because is surviving, deteriorating because of schus, and which is not. And we can allow the woman who's surviving and deteriorating not because of schus, but because she's tahira because of that. The Svar Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon.
Maybe the death method is different between Tahara and Tameya. Tahara is just suddenly drops dead of a heart attack, and the Tameya is the one that has a consumption.
Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon also says both of them are.
The same way?
Well, maybe. You don't see it explicitly. Maybe there's some difference in the process. Could be. It's sad to be like a, yeah,
some disease or cancer.
Yeah, it could be. There is a difference, but you're right. There must be some difference. Obviously, according to Madamar, school style of Nikeres. According to Madamar, any Nikeres, or what do you say? So Rabbi Yitzchak said you have to say a different trush in the pasuk. What do we do with this pasuk? It's about a woman who drank and the waters didn't check her. Now Adam come and say she was Tameya. So I might say they're lying. How do I know they're lying? Because she drank waters and she didn't, and she survived, right? So the pasuk comes tells Shalot Omer Eidei Sheker Hein Lefichav Lo Badku Hasamayim. Don't think these are Eidei Sheker, and that's where the waters didn't check her. The pasuk comes to tell us that there's an Isha who's not Nidma, but she's not Tahira either. There's a woman who's not nitma and is Torah. Zum is not nitma but is not Torah. You know why the waters didn't check her? Because the Kodesh Baruch Hu knew the Eidim would come. So why should he bother killing her? Let the Eidim be responsible, right? Or she then might not even kill her, right? Because no Eidim in Asra. So Kodesh Baruch Hu had Rachmanis on her. He said he's not going to kill her. Let the Eidim come. So that's the Chiddush of the pasuk. You might have thought if the waters, she drinks waters and she survives, and then Eidim come, we don't believe the Eidim. Because the Kodesh Baruch Hu rejects the Eidim. So that's what the person tells us, no. V'lo nitma u'tahira. There's some people who are lo nitma and takatar, and some people who are lo nitma, and meaning they weren't checked by the waters, but they're still not tar, meaning Eidim come later on. We believe the Eidim. Kodesh Baruch Hu didn't kill her. Kodesh Baruch Hu knew that the Eidim would come later on. Okay?
No, the Eidim don't testify that they saw her doing Bia, just that.
No, they saw Bia. I did too much.
Isn't she chayav skila?
Only if they give us raw.
So these Eidim didn't give
No, they didn't give us raw. They saw that she did. Yeah. Says more further, top of Yuzayim Alf. Rabbi Yehuda said, let's get back to this issue. V'asyu commander Amar Tzchus Toila Ve'ini Keres. This is a quote, right? We said that before the line, Asyu commander Amar Tzchus Toila Ve'ini Keres. Says more, Rabbi Yehuda says, a kavaldik echat. He says, Lama lo hukra. You know why this man never holds it's not nikar? Ibnei shetolas l'schus. It's a kavaldik thing. He says, why is the woman who's not nikar? According to Mandamar holds that it's chus toil ein nikaris. That's good for her schus. His schus is that she wasn't embarrassed in public. She'll die eventually too. Man, it'll maybe it'll look like a heart attack, like you said before. This is according to Mandamar the ein nikaris. They both fly the same way. Her schus was HaKadosh Baruch Hu concealed her guilt. That's what her schus is. Okay? So it says Gemara, now, it says Gemara, okay, I got a problem. If that's the case, so Lamaisa, how can, if it's not Nikar, getting back to Nikar, going to Nikar, how can he have relations ever with his wife after she drinks Sotah waters? Right? Who knows? Right? He doesn't know whether she's clean or not. It says Gemara, he's allowed to take chances. And he's free of sin. Baruch said, you're right, you don't know. Right? Because chus toil en any keres. And maybe she survived because of his chus. And not because she's Torah. And on the other hand, of course, we have the other Mandamra who holds that perhaps even a Torah, but, I'm sorry, never mind that, because the other Mandamra holds that it's Nikar. Sorry. So she says more, what's the pshat? Hi, what about her? She says, I survived. Hi, I was a slut. So what? God kept me alive. I can go back home, right? Is that true? She bears the sin. She knows. He doesn't know. He's exempt from sin. She's chayav in this sin. Okay?
Can you throw in chazaka here at all?
Yeah, he really has a chazaka, but it's more than a chazaka. It's like haftacha to him. It's a promise, besides the chazaka, you can assume your wife is Torah since she drank the words of life. But it's haftacha to you, you'll be free of sin, even if it turns out she drops dead later on. Okay? So a very interesting sugya. Again, none of this is in the Bible. This whole sugya, whether it's chus toil nikeres, ain't nikeres, and whether she's muteres lebeis afterwards, those circumstances, the Bible just skips the whole thing. Okay? Says more further, the Mishnah further, Allah above. Nitma min chasach lo kitcha b'chi. Now most of the next sugya is also not in the Bible. A little bit of it is, but not most of it is not. Says the Gemara, nitma samin min chasach lo kitcha b'chi. If her mincha became tummy before you put it into a kli shares, harei kechol menachos, like all menachos v'tiparin can be redeemed and eaten. Actually, as the Gemara will say. Once you put it in a vessel, harei kechol menachos, it's like all the vessels which became all other menachos which are put into a kli shares. V'tisarif, and it's got to be burnt if some psul occurs. These are the ones where we burn the mincha. So burn the mincha. Omer Tmei Loch, if she could see she was Tmei. V'shabo Eidim she Tmei. Eidim came and said she was Tmei. V'Omer Tmei Yishoitha, and if she says she's not drinking before the Megillah is erased. V'shabala Ein Rotza Ashkos, and one where her husband has second thoughts. V'shabala Bala Baderech, her husband had relations along the way. And also all those who are married to Kohanim, they have menachos on Yisrafos, but in a different way, not exactly the same way as the ratio. Says the Gemara further, says the Gemara, Tanim nitmeis minchos at shelo kitra b'kli. We learned that mincha becomes tamei before it's put into a vessel. Harei kol menachos v'tipodeh, and it can be redeemed. And there's a word missing here, but it should say v'teachel. And it can be eaten as well. That's what it says in the Tosefta. Mishakechli, once it's put into a vessel and consecrated, harei k'chomenos, like all menachos which are put into a vessel consecrated, then there's instead of Tisaref, it should say, the Shai Teres brings on the Tosefta, 2 bar rasa, it's got to wait overnight. The Teitze Beis HaSreif, and then it can be burnt afterwards. Because Allah, the Menach, anything which came tell me once a Kli Sharis, has to become noser before we burn it. We don't just burn it automatically. We burn it after it becomes noser. Says the Gemara, now going back to the Mishnah. Homer Tmeani, if she says Tmeani, an interesting Gemara, actually quite interesting. It says, Lo kechata shemesu balehi, is it not, it sounds like even before it was put into a Kli, it can be redeemed. Well, before it's put into Kli, it's like money which is designated for chatos. Money designated for chatos, even if you achieve kapara some other way, this money has got to be put into Yam HaMelech. Because once it's designated for chatos, just like a chatos dies if you don't need the korban, the money, before you bring the korban, if it's designated for the purpose and not necessary for some reason, then you have to throw out the money. So it's a once you have to throw out the mincha. How can you redeem it and eat it, right? Is it not loka chatos shemesu balehi? The chatos shemesu balehi, chatos, you don't need it because the person who's going to bring it died. Chatos shemesu balehi yechom also yamamech, the water, the money goes and gets thrown to the Dead Sea because it's not usable. Says more no. And very interesting yisoid. Dam yelo osham toli. Mincha soita is like an osham toli. It's not like a chatos. It really isn't a chatos. Chatos is mechaper. Mincha soita is a conditional korban, right? So therefore, it's totally different. Says Mar, well, still, im Hashem toli, afilu mishakitcha b'kli. Hashem toli, if you don't need it, once it's placed, you can redeem it, even if it should be able to redeem it once it's placed in Kli Sharis. Or remember to Masani until it ain't over till it's over, man. Hashem Toli. If you found that you sinned before you sacrificed an Hashem Toli, you can redeem the Hashem Toli. So here, how come once it's in the Keli, you can't redeem it? Rabbi Masani, the placing the Kli, Damil Hashem Shenishchat. It's like an Hashem, it's already shechted. That seeing time we learned already, Shenishchat no delo. If once you shecht the Hashem Toli, you found that you sinned, then Hadam Yishafech Vabosi Yitzeh Beis HaSreif, you burn the meat, and here too, once you put it in Sharet, it's like after Shechita, and you have to burn it. Okay? Now, here comes the price, but the price is very distorted actually in the Gemara. It's much easier if you read it in the Korban Eidah. You look Korban Eidah, starting from where the lines get wide, count up from there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines up. There's a Hachi Garcia. See the Hachi Garcia? Hachi Garcia, Tani.
Regarding the burning of the mincha,
yeah.
It doesn't matter whether she drank, according to the machlokas we had yesterday, whether
she drinks the water. If she says Tmeani, no, it doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter. Once it's a Kli Sharis, you have to burn it. And it's put in the Kli Sharis before that, all those things we talked about yesterday.
Even if you drink
right. It's put in the Kli Sharis before. Tani, need meis minchas at shlo kitra, meaning for the korban eidah. If a mincha became tamei at shlo kitra b'kli before it was put in the vessel, harei kol menachos like all menachos tipad, it can be redeemed and it can be eaten. Mishkitcha b'kli, once it's put into a kli, harei kol menachos like all menachos that you put into a kli, v'tisaref, it has to be burnt. Kadesh or claimants, what if you took the claimants? You actually took out the claimants. Let's speak like even you were not able to sacrifice it, Hachamesu, until the husband died. Shemesari, they dropped dead of fright in the Azora. Harei k'chol menachos like all menachos, the tisa reif, and it's got to be burnt. Karev ha'koimets, what if you actually sacrificed the koimets? You put the Koimitz on the Mizbeach, and then somebody dropped dead. See, you weren't able, and the Kohanim should get to eat the rest of the mincha, but they didn't get to eat until the guys that dropped dead, the principals. So, then it can be eaten. Why is that? Because, going back to the Gemara, the 2 lines below where it says Tani, which is 2 lines also below where it says Allah Mastis in the Korban Eidah. Because Shal Sofek Ba Tchilasa, the whole Minchas Sotah comes in a Sofek, right? At the time that the Koimitz was put in his back, the Sofek was still existing, right? So therefore, Kipros Feiko B'Hochola. At that time, it was a valid Korban, therefore whatever Shiraim are left, you can eat afterwards, okay? Bola Edim Shitmev, Edim came that she's Tomei, Benkach or Benkach Minchos Asura. No matter what, the Mincha is Asur. So says the Gemara, Mao Benkach Benkach. What does mean, ben, no matter what? Ben Shekamatz, Ben Shelo Kamatz, regardless of whether the Kmitz already occurred, or not, Ben Shikti, Ben Shloikti, regardless of already the Aktar occurred or not, Edim eliminate the need for the Mincha Sotah, right? Because the whole concept of Sotah is because of the Sofek. Doubt. The Edim undermine that Sofek. So therefore, if Edim come, the Mincha is invalidated, no matter what stage you are at. According to this Mandamar, even after Kmitza, it's invalidated.
It's not Rosh Hashanah.
It's not Rosh Hashanah, right. That's what he says. Says Mar, no, not that much, says Rabbi Yehuda. Ben Shekoma to Ben Shelo Koma, it's true, whether if it's before or after Kmitza, and B'Shelo Hiktir, and also if he didn't you have put the Koimitz on his back. But if the Eidim came, I believe Hiktir, if you already put the Koimitz on the Mizbeach, you can't say the Eidim possible the Mincha after that, because then at the time of the Kmitza, the Mincha was still valid. So then the Shiraim can be in, even if her Eidim come before he gets to eat the Shiraim.
Is she chayav achazos? If the Edom come, there's no Hashra.
No, because it wasn't Shrege, it was Mazid.
So what is she?
No, she gets divorced without a ksuva. That's all. Times you learned over there. Shimon Omer minchas chayte shel kohanim dikmetzes. The Kohen brings the minchas chayte because he sinned. So you have a kohemetz. Kohemetz kohev latzmo shiraim kreim latzmo, and he put both on the mizbeach, the kohemetz and the shiraim. Because the minchas kohen can't be eaten, it's got to be burned. Says now Rabbanan argue, even though they're not brought down here. Rabbanan hold you don't do kmitza, just put the whole mincha on the mizbeach. Ushnei mikra echad darshan, they both learn the same pasuk. Says vayisol kohen kamincha. It says that the kohen the mincha of a it says that the mincha of a kohen when he sins should be like his mincha when he volunteers a mincha. And there it says it should be called Harei mincha Rabbanan Harei minchas nidvaso. This is like minchas nidava. My minchas nidvaso kreva kolil. Just put the whole thing on top of his back as is without kmitza. Avzu kreva kolil. So to this one, the whole thing on his back as is. No. It means differently. It says Harei asiris eifa shel kohen kasiris eifa shel Yisrael. It means well, I saw Kohen Kamincha not like his mincha, but like a Yisrael's mincha, right? What's that? His 10th of an April, which is a measure of mincha, should be like Yisrael's. Ma'asir Eva shel Yisrael nikmetzes, just like there's kmitza by a regular Jew. Avzu nikmetzes, so too by here there's kmitza as well. Mazu nechels, avzu nechels. Let them both be eaten. Tamlomer chol minchas Kohen. No, the mincha kohen has to be completely put on his back. It may not be eaten. So it says, so therefore you can't eat it, and that's why I put the komets on the mizbeach and the shiraim on the mizbeach separate. Okay, it's late. We'll stop here. At least we go Baruch Hashem. We did one block tonight, and we'll pick up with this tomorrow. And again, tomorrow it's quite interesting one. Okay, continuing with yesterday's tomorrow. We said that the according to Rabbi Shimon, when you have a minchas kohen, this specific one, the wife of a kohen is Sotah, and you bring this korban first, so you put the shiraim on the mizbeach and the komets on you could put the komets on the mizbeach and also the shiraim on the mizbeach too. Both of them go on the mizbeach. So it says more ilin shiraim b'shumayim boin. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th line down. Ilin shiraim b'shumayim boin. when you put them on the Mizbeach, with what intent do you put them on the Mizbeach? Mishum shirai, mishum komets? Is it because do you have the same kavanah as the komets, or you have kavanah of shirai? It's an interesting question. What's the difference? Well, what I was going to say. Ain't there mishum komets? If the shiraim have the same status as the komets, because you put it on top of the mizbeach, ain't no balaylo, you can't put them at night. It's analogous to a carbon of an animal. If you sprinkle the blood during the day, you can put the limbs and fats on the mizbeach during the night. So here, if the shiraim is analogous to the limbs and fats of a carbon, then you can put it on at night. But if it's analogous to the dam, then you can only put it on during the day. So the komets is like the dam, and that for sure can only be done during the day. The question is, what is the shiraim analogous to? Okay?
The carbon is the
right, but that's by a regular mincha, by a mincha's kohen, so everything is going on top of the mizbeach, right? So that's our question. If everything is going on top of the mizbeach, is it that everything now becomes komets, or it's like komets and shiraim? Okay, by blood, you can tell the difference between the blood and the carbon, but here you can't tell the difference. It's only quantitative, not qualitative. It's going to the same place. So that's why the Gemara has a question about it, right? So it says, again, ain't there mishum komets? If it's has it says codes, you can't put it at night. Also after death. If the wife drops dead or the husband drops dead, you can't put the komets at top. You can't put the shrine on the mizbech anymore. Also, in terms of our favorite topic, pigul. You cannot, the halacha of pigul is, you have to think while you're doing one of the avodos to eat or put on top of the mizbeach the limbs or the fats, or at the wrong time in the wrong place. It's called, you have to think about one of the mutorim, one of the things which become mutar. While you're doing the matirim, you're thinking about that which is going to become mutar, right? So why are you doing this? One of the four avodas by a regular korban, or doing the kmitza by a mincha, you're thinking about when you're going to eat, or the shiraim, or the chaz of a shok, or when you're going to put the murim on top of the mizbeach. You're going to do it in the wrong time or the wrong place. So if you're going to say that the komets, that the shiraim here is like the komets, then you cannot make pigul by thinking about putting the shiraim on top of the mizbeach at the wrong time or wrong place. But if you're going to say the shiraim is independent, right, it's not part of the komets, so then you can achieve pigul by thinking about the shiraim, because the shiraim then become a mutter. They're not a matir, they're a mutter, right? So that's what it says. So in Tamar, in Tamar shum komets you can't put them at night. Nor after death. And you cannot have machshavas pigul for them. In Tamar shum shraim, if they are considered to be shraim, you can put them on at night, just like you can put the limbs and fats of korban on at night. So you can put them at night. Okay. Now it says the Gemara, "Take mau shechashiv lohem." What is the status? Can you think about them? What's the status? So it says, let's learn from here. No, let's think about them vis-a-vis pigul. The kometz is sacrificed by itself. Shiraim is shiraim scatter on the deshen, on the ashes. Now this is Rabbi Lezer bir Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon is one that says komets by itself and shiraim by itself are put in the mizbeach. Rabbi Lezer, his son, said he put the komets on the mizbeach, and the shiraim you put on the deshen. There are two deshens in the Beis Hamikdash. One is the deshen on top of the mizbeach, and the other is the deshen where they take the ashes off to on a way station on the way to carting them out of the Har HaBayis, which is on the floor of the Hazorah.
Which was the Trumas edition?
The Trumas edition is taken from the top of the Zech and put on the deshen on the floor. Okay, until you cart it out.
Was there a tapuach also?
So the tapuach is in the middle. The tapuach is where you take the Trumas edition from. It's a mound of ashes on the top of the Mizbeach. That's called the tapuach. So it says more, which deshen we talking about? The tapuach deshen, right on top of the Mizbeach, or are you talking about the deshen on the floor? If it's about the deshin on top, meaning the tapuach hadeshin, as you said, kfar amar Rabbi Shimon. That's what Rabbi Shimon's father said. So there's no qualitative difference between him and Rabbi Shimon because that's the top of his back. And the main way in the deshin shamalon, if Rabbi Shimon must not be talking about the deshin on top of his back, today we learn the deshin shamata, rather must be talking about the deshin below, on the bottom of the base, on the floor of the azor. Hadamara, this teaches us. Now, what's teaching us? That which Rabbi Yochanan said, that according to the Rabbi Shimon, it's interesting what Rabbi Yochanan said. Rabbi Yochanan said, if you say he's putting on the Tapuach Hadeshin, then that's the same thing as his father, Rabbi Shimon. But that's what Rabbi Yochanan said. So therefore, you must be talking about putting on the Deshin down on the floor of Hazor. But wait a minute, says the Gemara. That means Rabbi Yochanan holds that the shiraim of this korban, according to Rabbi Shimon, they don't go on the ma'arocha itself. They don't go on the actual, pyre of flames on top of the mizbeach. They go on the tapuach hadeshin. Rabbi Yochanan said, according to Rabbi Shimon, the father goes on the tapuach hadeshin. But if Rabbi Shimon, the son, says it goes on the deshin, it's going on the floor, because otherwise he's not arguing on his father. So it must be that the father holds it doesn't go on the ma'arocha, it doesn't go on the pyre on top of the mizbeach, but it goes on the tapuach hadeshin on top of the mizbeach, right? So if that's what this father holds, so it says Gemara, Midakar Damra teaches us that Nosam Balayla, that means it's not part of the, because it's not the same as the koimetz. Because it was like the koimetz, you wouldn't put it on the tapuach hadeshin, you put it on the actual ma'arocha, right? So it teaches us that Nosam Balayla, it teaches us that the shiraim are an independent unit, and therefore you can put them on top of, put them on the mizbeach at night. Nosam Achmisa, put it on top of the mizbeach after the death of the husband or the wife, and they may be thought of and can create people thereby. Rabbi Yosef said, not true. You cannot have machshava for them in order to create pigul, because they were never a mutar. They were never rendered suitable, not for a person to eat, nor for the mizbeach to eat. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Bob Bar Memel. Now it's not clear exactly. All right. Rabbi Bob Bar Memel. Never mind. Rabbi Bob Bar Memel boy. Rabbi Bob Bar Memel asked, "Hach Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon b'shitas Aviv or b'shitas Chachamim?" How is he going? I don't understand. It's a rhetorical question. He's going to expand on it. Is he going like his father Rabbi Shimon, or is he going like Chachamim? In b'shitas Aviv, it's like his father. Yikrav l'malon. Then put it on top. Right? Put on top of his bech. Not on the dish on the floor, put on top of his bech if he goes like his father. And if he doesn't like his father, in B'shitas Chachamim, lo yikmotz, well, Chachamim, you don't do kmitz at all on Minchas Kohen. You just dump the whole thing lock, stock, and barrel in Zech. You don't do kmitz at all. Yet he holds you do kmitz, but you don't put on top of his bech, but rather than dash on the floor. Schizophrenic. What does he hold like? So it says, the Gemara, B'shitas Avivu. He's going like his father. He's really like his father, except that he has one caveat, which Gemara is going to bring up momentarily. Rabbi Shimon Omer, what did Rabbi Shimon hold? He says, "Harei Asiras," the father. What did he hold? "Harei Asiras Sefer Shel Kohen," the mincha of the Kohen, because the 10th measure, which is the measure of mincha. Kasiras Sefer Shel Yisrael is like the 10th, is like the mincha of Yisrael. Just like the mincha of Yisrael gets kmitza, avzuni kmitza, so to this one gets kmitza. If that's the case, so maybe just like the Kohen eats the mincha brought by Yisrael, so maybe to a Kohen can eat the mincha of a Kohen. So Lomar, so the pasuk says, "L'chol minchas Kohen kolil siyeh lo seachel." It says every mincha of a Kohen should be completely consumed, right, and not eaten. So it says the Gemara, "Usehei kolil." Now, if that's the case, let's say like Rabbanan, that's completely burnt up. How come Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon both argue when you say you don't burn it all together on top of the Mizbeach. First you do Kmitza, then you do Shirayim. And according to Rabbi Eliezer Shimon, not only do you do Shirayim separately, but Shirayim is not even put on top of the Mizbeach, right? It's put down on the ground, on the dash on the ground. So says the Gemara, this should be a line here instead of a vav. Lo se'achel hikashti. It says, Kom Michas Kohen Kolil, Kom Michas Kohen, it says, Kolil Tiyeh, Lo Se'achel. Should be complete Kolil and not eaten. So it says more, Lo Se'achel Tikashtia, it's not consumed. Lo Kashtia Kolil Toktar, but not that it's completely put on top of this bech. In other words, it's got to be but not eaten.
It's not eaten, but doesn't have to, but it can be disposed of in different...
Right, and that's what Rabbi Eliezer Shimon holds, it's disposed of on the floor. By the way, 2 blot this morning.
Ooh, I didn't.
Okay. We're catching up. The goal is to get up to pay Dalit by next Wednesday, excuse me.
Is that when you're on school ends?
Yeah. We want to be Messiah with the rest of the world, the Art Scroll Volume 2.
The Art Scroll?
Yes. Well, I don't know if we'll actually achieve that goal.
I found a very glaring mistake in one of the footnotes. Volume 2.
I'm not macabre with you, actually. Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shimon, B'shon HaKayetzibah. Rabbi saw the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shimon and said something similar. What that is, we don't know yet. We'll see in a minute. Says more right, Bobaklaim Baikum Rabbi Yossi. I know, maybe in front of Rabbi Yochanan. Lamli Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shimon. If you look Rabbi Shimon the Avi. Why do you say? Why do you know? How do you know Rabbi's going like Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shimon? Maybe he's going like Rabbi Shimon the father. Says Amara. Armalese said, "Equal Barosh HaMizbeach." If he held like if he held like Rabbi Eliezer, like Rabbi Shimon, the truth is, the Mishnah. I really should show you the Mishnah because otherwise it's just confusing. In the next Mishnah, Halacha Zayin, it says top next page. So they want to say that's going like Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shimon. I don't think this is in the Bible either. They want to say that stuff go like Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shimon, because the language of nisrefes. Because Rabbi Shimon holds that the mincha of a kohen, the komet shrine both go on top of the mizbeach. Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shimon holds the komet goes on the mizbeach, the shrine goes on the deshen on the floor of the azorah. For that, it is suitable to say a language of nisrefes. Nisrefes means burnt up. It was put on top of the mizbeach like Rabbi Shimon the father holds. So it shouldn't say nisrefes, but rather necheles or nikreves, because that's the language used on top of the mizbeach. So that's why they say this next Mishnah is going like Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shimon and not like Rabbi Shimon himself. Okay, says more. That's what he says in the 5th line from the bottom here. Iku barosh hamizbeach, vein sreifa barosh hamizbeach. If you put it, we use a lotion of equal consumption, not sreifa. Says Rabbi Chanina kum Rabbi Mana. Rabbi Chanina asked for Rabbi Mana about time. Rabbi Chiyah Poli. Does Rabbi Chiyah have a price which he argues on Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shimon? It says, which it says, Likori called the mincha brought by the wife of a Kohen, as who's a Sotah. Likori called can't be sacrificed whole, right? And they should fall to Shalisha, because the woman's in a partner. You can't eat it either. I mean, they should fall to Shalish, because of the partnership of the man, right? So the Isha is not like her husband, and she theoretically can bring a regular mincha. The man is not like his wife, and he cannot bring a regular mincha because he's a Kohen. So what do you do? So therefore, although the Brisa doesn't finish here, but the assumption is since you can't do kolil, and you can't eat it, so it must be that the shirayim and the komets are both by themselves. The carbon 8 brings it down on the bottom line here. If you take a look at the last line, carbon 8 says, you see that you put both Craving. What's the language of craving mean? It means on top of the Mizbech. So Rabbi Chia is going in clearly Rabbi Shimon, because he says they're both craving on the Mizbech. Not one is Korev and one is Nisra, but both are craving. So here we see Rabbi Chia holds like Rabbi Shimon the father. So it's more big deal. So he said Rabbi Ra Daitosh Rabbi Lezer for Rabbi Shimon, for Rabbi Chia Ruba Ra Daitosh Rabbi Shimon Avi. Rabbi holds like Rabbi Lezer Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Chia holds like Rabbi Shimon. They don't have to agree. They can disagree. So they disagree. What's the big deal? Okay? And that's the Gemara's conclusion. Now, most of the next halacha in the Bavli is also not Yerushalmi. Bas Yisrael shenisis l'kohen. A Bas Yisrael marries a Kohen. Minchas is lefes. And the mincha is burnt, as we just learned, and that's like Rabbi Lezer Rabbi Shimon. That's burnt on top of the mizbeach, but rather the shiraim are burnt on the ground.
It's not really burnt; it's just put in a pile of ashes.
Well, the assumption the ashes are hot and they'll burn up. Okay, Ubat's Kohen Jesus Yisrael, Bat's Kohen who marries Yisrael. Minchas ne'acheles, the mincha is eaten, even though she's a Bat's Kohen, but she's married to Yisrael, so it doesn't count. Ma ben Kohen lekohenes. What's the difference between a Kohen and a Kohenes? So besides the difference you just mentioned, says more. I'm glad you asked. The minchas Kohenes ne'acheles. The mincha of a Kohenes, a woman who's a Bas Kohen, can be eaten. Minchas Kohen, the mincha of a Kohen, Eina ne'acheles cannot be eaten. Kohenes mischalos. If a Kohenes has relations with somebody who's forbidden to her, then she becomes defrocked. Kohen never can become defrocked. Kohenes can go to Levias. Kohen cannot go to Levias. Kohen can eat chatos and shomos, which are higher than regular kabbanas of shlamim. Kohenes over is no better than Yisrael. She can't eat kochi. What's the between a Kohen and Kohenes? Minchas Kohenes ne'acheles, Minchas Kohen ena ne'acheles. The mincha of a Kohen is eaten, and Minchas Kohenes is not eaten. Right? I'll skip the line. I went backwards. Minchas Kohenes ne'acheles, Minchas Kohen ena ne'acheles. They'll say, how do we know that? V'chol Minchas Kohen, or every mincha of a Kohen, Kolil Tiyat should be completely consumed, lo se'achel. It says Kohen, lo Kohenes. Ravo Bokum Rav Shimon Lakish. 1 second. If that's the case, what do you do with this person? Well, see, it says Kohen Yikin and Nefesh Kinin Kaspa. So if a Kohen buys an Evet, the Evet can eat Truma. So it's only if the Kohen buys an Evet. What about if a Kohenes buys an Evet? Can Kohenes' Evet not eat Truma? It sounds as if there's Kohen in that pasuk. Does it come to exclude Kohenes? The Kohenes buys an Evet, can't eat Truma. Says Gemara Mata Kohen v'lo Kohenes. Says Gemara Taket. Mike you do? Well, it's true. Obviously, from this we learn out that Kohen is generic, and Kohen also includes Kohenes generally. So therefore, how do we know that only the mincha of a Kohen is Eina Nikmetes, you don't do Kmitza? How do we know the mincha of a Kohenes you do Kmitza? In other words, once we say that Kohen always means Kohen and Kohenes, because otherwise would an avid of a Kohenes not be able to eat Truma. So how do we know that a mincha of a Kohen is not nikmat, whereas the mincha of a Kohenes is? Says I'll tell you, because in the Parashah it says that the mincha of a Kohen is special. It says v'kohen Mashiach tachtav mibarak. It speaks about the anointed Kohen. What does the anointed Kohen mean? It's Shebno Oimet Tachtav, the one whose son can stand in his place. Yotzazu She'em B'no Oimet Tachteh, as opposed to a mother whose son does not stand in her place, right? Because her son might not be a Kohen if she married a Yisrael. So the bottom line is, we say, since the parasha was talking about the Kohen's mincha being completely burnt, it's talking specifically about a person who was in the parsha bequeathing his priestly status or his priestly conduct to his children. Therefore, it doesn't apply to a woman Kohenes. Okay? Her son would not have stand in his place. Kohenetz mischalelas. A kohenetz is defiled when by forbidden relations. Then kohen mischalelas. If a kohen marries a divorcee, she's in trouble, not him. Because here it says lo yichalel zaro b'amav. He doesn't desecrate his He says even if he marries a woman who's also to him, he shouldn't. It says a kohen shouldn't marry a woman who's also to him because he shouldn't defile his zera. He shouldn't defile his kids, right? So it says the more only zera shemischal. So that means that his kids are not defiled. He atzma. That his kids are defiled. Sorry. He shouldn't cause his kids to be defiled, which means his kids can be defiled. So this you see, kids can be defiled. Who atzma, how we know that he himself can be defiled? I keep reading this wrong. He atzma, she herself, how could she be defiled? Says, going to marry somebody who's possible, nor not to defile his kids. Okay, so we know his kids are possible. How come? But how do we know that she's possible? Not making sense?
No, it's choppy because it's skipping from.
It's only choppy because I didn't punctuate it properly. It's skipping from the kids to the mother.
Yeah, but what about him?
Him? Well, he needs a process. He never speaks about him. When it speaks about Chalolos, it never speaks about him. That's the assumption here, right? And how do we know in that case that she herself becomes no good? The dinu, it's a kavachomer. If the kids who didn't commit an avera the kids get mucholo because of the iniquities of their fathers. He shavra avera. She that she transgressed an avera. Eno did she is chalsan kavachomer that she becomes a cholo. Says, well, not necessarily. He himself should disprove that. Shav Avera, the Kohen transgressed Avera Bein Mischal, he doesn't become a Cholo, right? So I know that she, the mother, becomes a Cholo, right? No?
Which Avera is she's having a relations with someone that she...
With him!
Oh, I thought it was two.
Takes two to tango, right?
So she's
a Kohen and he's a Grusha. He's a Kohen, she's a Grusha, right? Okay. So
she's a Grusha. She's also to a Kohen anyway.
And a Chanam, but she's mischalo by doing that. She can never go back then to eat Truma again.
Oh, she's a bas Kohen.
Right, she's a bas Kohen, right? Okay. Who actually there's on one side, he himself to commit the Aveir doesn't get mischal. Why should his wife get mischalos? So there's more loy mamat to be shed mischalo. The reason why we wouldn't say ish is mischalo, I'm skipping those sounds good. A man might not become a chol because he's never mischal. No such thing as a man being mischal. There's no precedent. Tomer Risha she mischal chomakos, both women is mischalelas. All over the place, she becomes a zoina, right? A woman's definition is that she's susceptible to chalolos. So therefore, here too, she becomes a chalola. When mischal chomakos, so she becomes chol all over. Dino she's chal, it's kavchom. If kids become chol, she certainly should become chol. So the manav shchol loymar. What do you want to say? Lo yichalel. It says lo yichalel, right? It could have said lo yachel, right? So it teaches us af misha kosher mischalo. I goofed because I didn't tell you the carbon 8 ahead of time. Therefore, this Gemara doesn't make any sense. The carbon explains in Manav Shkol Lomer. The Gemara is asking actually intends to ask a question. It's or rather intends to preclude a question. You could have asked that. Carbonated. Maybe the kids are possible because they were conceived in Avera, right? But Maybe the woman means kosher because she was never conceived illegitimately. She had illicit relations, but she was never conceived illegitimately. How do you know that she becomes a chalola? You want to say kavachomer. If the kids become chalolim, then she herself becomes a chalola, right? Because the progeny suddenly, maybe not. Maybe the kids become chalolim because they're born into chalolaskite. But she was not born into chalolaskite. Maybe she doesn't become a chalola.
She becomes a cholo once she has.
Maybe not.
With the
Who says? It says Leichel Zaro. Doesn't say anything about her.
She said it takes two to tango.
Yeah, but that's us trying to figure it out. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe it takes two to tango, but maybe that's not not. Bear in mind, he doesn't become Tomei. Maybe the issue is only somebody who's born a CFB, a cholo for birth, not a BC, a Baal Chol, I don't know, Baal Chol, somebody who becomes cholo or chalola later on. How do we know that? How do we know a person who becomes a chalola later on becomes a chalola? So it says, give me 1 second. So lo yichalel. Right, it says extra lamed. Amisha kosher mitzchaus. Even something that was already kosher can become a chol afterwards.
Is there such a word for that?
Yeah. Sure. Do not make profane. Yeah. A chalel is also profane. Says the Marai, Kohenes mitar milamesim. The Kohenes, shifting gears here. The Kohenes can be mitame lamesim. And since the Kohenes can be mitame lamesim, we have this Zionistic Gemara, which is not in the Bible here either. Rabbi Dosim Malchior. Don't forget that Yerushalmi is not so Zionistic. The end of Ksuvas, they argue in the famous Mishnah about everybody can coerce Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael. Right there, it's not so simple. But here there is a Zionistic Gemara. Rabbi Dosim Milchior. And Rabbi Yaakov Shem Lezer said, Kohenes muteres l'tzeis l'chutz la'aretz. A Kohen, even if he wants a green card, he can't go to chutz la'aretz. Why can't he go to chutz la'aretz? Tamei, right, to Maser Tamei. But a Kohenes can go. My time, or why? Because more the Kohanim tell the Kohanim not to become Tamei. Lo Kohenes, the Kohenes is allowed to become Tamei. So there's more. Wait a minute. The Lokain Manonomen. If not for this pasuk, what would we have said? However, Biklau Gzera Lo Teitze. Would we have said that she's involved in the this is actually not a question, it's a statement. In the statement that says, if not for this pasuk, would have said, and she was included in the decree, lo say she should not go out. To chutzlars. With the Eibuchal Gzera v'lo teitei, well, maybe she's talking including the Gzera. Im oimar kein, no, you can't say it. Im oimar kein, if you say that, im tzeis marche parshas tumos. If you say that, you're going to push off the parsha of tumos. Where's the...
Going to the cemetery.
No, we're going to chutzlars here.
Yeah, but it's the same thing here. The file. It's the same.
Yeah, so why don't we prevent her going to chutzlars sake? Because it says, because you push out the Torah of Tumah. Because people would say, I'm confused now.
according to Pasuk Emor al Kohanim or Kohanos.
Yeah. This is the rest of the Rabbanan, though. The whole thing is the Rabbanan. It's really about kind of chutz lords.
What exactly is the problem?
Imar Makanim says Malcha Parshas Tmeis.
Yeah, because the Carbonado
How you Malcha Parshas Tmeis? This is the issue of the Rabbanan, it's not the Raisas.
But it has to be, the problem is the drush of the pasuk. More Kohanim b'nei Aaron. B'nei Aaron means b'nei v'lo b'nos.
Yeah.
So therefore, it explicitly would exclude, just from the verbiage here, it would explicitly exclude a Kohanis. Therefore, she is not prevented from going out to Chutz La'aretz.
No, you skipped a step. You're saying good, but you skipped a step. Or it could be just I'm trying to assert my ownership of this.
Go ahead.
But I just... No. I think that if we make the Gzeira Rabbanan more chomer than the Gzeira D'Oraisa, it would undermine the D'Oraisa. It would say a Kohanis can't go to Chutz La'aretz, but at the same time she can go to Levias in Eretz Yisrael. That's Kakamemi. Something would have to give somewhere.
That's true.
That's the issue. So if you're going to make the Gzeira, she can't go to Chutz La'aretz, even though she can go to Levias, because it says in Parshas Tumos, and Moral Kohanim and Below Kohanos, something would be askew. It would undermine the entire halachic structure. And obviously Chazal, they want to ask for Kohanis to go to Levias. You know, that would have also backfired. So that's what you were basically saying.
Right, because the Carbonado didn't say that, but obviously that's the missing part.
Right, that's the missing part, right. Okay, so that's what it means. And again, this is Marcha Parshas Tmeis, because it's going to come out that the Rabbanan would be more common than the D'Oraisa, and that's intolerable. Okay, very good. Kohen elcha b'kodesh kodesh man kohenes ochels b'kodesh kodesh. A kohen eats kodesh kodesh and a kohenes can eat kodesh kodesh. The chsiv it says kol zachar b'kohanim yochel, only males can eat it. Okay. Next Mishnah. Ma ben ish leisha. What's the between what difference is between a man and a woman? Besides the differences in the organs. Haish poreo talking about halachic differences. A man, all the halachic differences between men and women are in this Mishnah. Haish poreo, if he's a mitzvah, he's got to grow a mustache and he's got to rip his clothes. Woman does neither. Okay? Feinish paras b'premis. Haish ma'is b'nomenah is a very obscure halacha. It only comes up a couple of times in Shas. A man can require his son to be a Nazir. A woman cannot. Okay? Another obscure halacha. If his father was a Nazir and he's a Nazir and his father dies, he can use the karbanos his father set apart for himself when he comes to break his Nazirus. Okay? A daughter cannot do that. A man can marry off his daughter. A woman cannot marry off her daughter. A man can sell his daughter to be a slave. Not a wife. Not a mother. She can't sell her daughter. A man is stone naked. When she's not stone naked. A man is hung after he's stoned. A woman is not. So a man is sold in slavery if he steals. A woman is not sold into slavery if she steals. Okay? Says the Gemara, Ish, it says, and Ish becomes a Mitzvah. Only know a man, Ish, we know the woman becomes a Mitzvah. Because it says Tzarua, and Tzarua means a leper. Ben Ish, Ben Isha, and even Ben Cotton. So if that's the case, why did it say man? In terms of what it says below, like we said in our Mishnah, a man grows a mustache and rips his clothes, and a woman does not. Okay. A a man can make a son of Noz.
Why don't they just use the example of Miriam? She became it somewhere.
Well, I know, and that'd be halachic there.
No, but
Because she was real. I don't even know if it was real tzaras. It says mitzaras kashelet, yeah, but it's a spiritual tzaras, so I don't know if we can learn from there. So Maisa Nisim, a whole bunch of reasons we couldn't learn from there. But your question is a good question. Says more further. A man can make a son Nazir, and a man can shave on the basis of the korbanos his far left over. Rabbi Yochanan b'shem Rabbi Meir said, the 24 things, Mikulei Beis Shammai, Mechumrei Beis Hillel, where Beis Shammai is Meikel and Beis Hillel is Machmer. The following is one of them. Beis Shammai, so far, can I make his kid as Nazir? Okay, so many Beis Nazir he can. Period. Sell his daughter. The Chassidim says, "If he sell his daughter for slavery, get married with his daughter." The Chassidim says, "I gave this man to this woman, my wife, my daughter, to this man. Vayis Leisha as a wife, and he hated her. A man is stoned naked. Not a woman. The Chassidim scalp them. Oh, so stone him. Him, we darshan, for loksu so, don't stone his clothes. It's got to be naked. He's allowed to wear a loincloth. So it says, the Gemara, in this case, it says, uskaltem, I skipped that line, sorry. Chagai boikum Rabbi Yossi, that says, uskaltem, oisom ba'avonim, which is like both the men and the women. Mata, oisom velos to some, they should both not have their clothes on. So your drasha is incorrect. Micah, what is the proper drasha? None. It's a svara. A man, if he's uncovered when he falls, is not so terrible. We used to see more naked men. So therefore, that's he's stone naked in order to make death quicker for him. But a woman, it's not nice. She splatters, she looks bad, so therefore, as a result of that, Aiden goes home, but she's not stone naked. A man is hung and a woman is not so they hang him below, so not her. A man is stolen, is sold for slavery if he stole. Sorry. It says that he stole for now actually it's not really a difference between man and woman, although that's true, but now we're getting into other differences. Not for his double portion. He sold for, Garnev has to pay double. So he's only sold up to the amount of his single payment, not for his kefil. An 8 zoimim who testified somebody stole, he's not sold into slavery. B'gneivo in his staff, he can't be sold twice. Even though in 1 6-year period it might not make up all the money which he stole, but nevertheless it can only be sold for a 6-year period. Says the Gemara, Veil of Dami. There is no after he goes free, the slave, he doesn't have to pay anything. Miato asks the Gemara, that's the case, let's dash him more. Well, let's say that only by one theft is true. It's not actually a question, it's a proposal. Maybe we say that what she sold only once is if he's only stole once. But if he stole twice, then he sold twice in succession. So for each incident of theft, he's only sold once. But if there are multiple incidents of theft, for each incident, he sold again. So it says, Rabbi Yirmiyah asks a few of his classic questions, which are not here in the Bavli. First of all, he stole from partners. What do you do? It's like one slave theft, he can only be sold once, or Kishteg can be sold twice. Also, if he was stealing, but he completed the act of taking it out of the owner's reshus at night. Is that like 2 thefts? Because he started stealing and then he only finished after the darkness, right? Neymar im yodu bo abaylim ben asayim. Let's say like this: if the owners found out between the 2 thefts Shnei Gneivosim. That's what divides. That's what they say by Shabbos. Yidiyas Mechalkos. The awareness is what divides. Lim Lav, and if not Gneva Achaseim. If the owner does not find out about it, it's one Gneva, one long Maisa Gneva from beginning to end. Okay? And there's only one selling in that case. Okay, new Mishnah. Arusa, the Shemeres Yova. A woman who is now Rusa. Oh, by the way, the last case of Rabbi Yirmiyah are not in the Bavli. Arusa v'Shemeres Yova. A woman is Arusa or waiting for Yavam. Lo shoysi, she can't drink. Lo del suva, nor she can ksuva. Shema says, Asher tisteh isha tachas isha. A woman under her husband. Now we don't know the darshan that yet, quite, but it means fully married. Okay, not Arusa Shemeres Yova.
What about Zika?
No, good question. No, not good enough. So Gemara's actually going to deal with it obliquely, though, not directly. Says Gemara v'nitma. So you do favorite thing, you know, you and Larry Feder. People know their Zika. Okay, then have all shots covered like that.
Practically, actually.
Since those recurring names that keep coming.
It's like they call the Minchas Chinuch, they call it Sefer Tumtum Vandragonus. So they call Shas Sefer Pigol, Nosar Zika Brera. Okay. Says on through the Zika you almost never have outside of Yavamas, very rarely. Says in Mishnah, excuse me. Asheti Stei Shatach Zishamid Ma Patla Rusa V'Sheres Yava. Hamal Koy Gogush Chutz L'Chornei. What if she was Mizana but she was in a forbidden marriage? Mamzeres and the Sina L'Yisrael, all these forbidden marriages. Ma'as Yisrael Namse Mamzer. L'Mamzer Nasi Lo Shoy says she doesn't drink. Lo tells Suva she doesn't get a Ksuva either, because she's forbidden in marriage, so therefore we can't make her drink. But we wanted to get divorced, so therefore we take away her Ksuva.
The marriage is chal.
Right, the marriage is chal, but she doesn't.
She's not eligible.
Not eligible for drinking, right? Says it might be Ashkena. Why can't we give her to drink? Gzeres Akosov. So Gzeres Akosov. Via ish es ishto ela kohen. He brings his wife to the kohen. Now, there's two different ways of darshan here. The smash of the Korban Eidah is correct, so I'll give the Korban Eidah first. The Korban Eidah says ishto twice in the pasuk. It says not here, but elsewhere. It says no time ishto. So it says ishto twice. So therefore, that means that it's also not just his wife by Erusin, but his wife by Nisuin. That's the way the Korban Eidah learns the sugya. Okay, Moshe learns the sugya, and we learn it out from. Oh, it's the opposite. That was the Pnei Moshe. No, I made a mistake. The Korban Eidah learns that from the meaning of the word Isha in and of itself, not from the extra pasuk. It's Pnei Moshe learns that because it says Ishto twice. The Korban Eidah says the word Ishto means his wife fully. What's his wife fully? Only after Nisuin. That's the way the Korban Eidah learns. When Moshe learns, says Isha twice, that should learn it from. Okay? So that means a woman who's Nesua is the one who undergoes this process. Says the Mara Lo Yikanei Lo. It says in our Mishnah the stira doesn't count. But it sounds like the kinoi can be done while she's still in a Rusa or a Shemeres Yavam. Why does that count? Says, I'll tell you why. It's a good question. Because Torah Amra, the Torah says, V'kine is Ishto. It says, Kine is Ishto, V'kine is Ishto. Now here again we have a difference in how to learn this. According to Korban Eidah, we learn how it says Ishto twice, right? So it's a mute after a mute, and that's a ribui. What is called a ribui? Even Mikzat Ishto, even if they only did so far a Erusin. Nevertheless, you can already do a kinoi, right? It says ishto twice, so you can even do kinoi during Erusin. That's the way the Korban Eidah learns. The Mei Moshe learns that we learn out from the extra word es. Could just said v'kinei ishto. What does it say? Kinei es ishto. It's going to tell us that even if she's an arusa, not quite fully married, right? Says the Gemara, Masnisa, our Mishnah, should be the low Kibei Shammai. Is not like Kibei Shammai, the Korban Eidah says. Why it's not like Kibei Shammai? Because the Shammai tells Ksuva lo shosa. The Shammai says she gets a Ksuva and she doesn't drink. Meaning that if she doesn't drink, she still gets her ksuva, right? Even though she doesn't drink the Sotah water, she still gets her ksuva when she's divorced. That's what it says here, right?
But if she refuses to drink, she goes out without the ksuva.
Not like Beis Shammai. Shammai, tells ksuva of lo shosa.
We didn't have that before.
What?
I don't think we had that earlier.
No. Right, Beis Shammai says even though she's not drinking, she still gets her ksuva.
So then, what's the?
So our mission can't be going to Beis Shammai.
No, but what's the svara? I mean, why? She'll never want to drink. She gets a ksuva anyway.
Yeah.
Why would she endanger her life by?
You're saying good. Lenin himself says it's only talking about Beis Shammai is only talking about Meis Balo. Her husband died. It's not like she can't drink. The question is where she gets a ksuva in that case. Beis Shammai says yes, Beis Hillel says no, right? And that's a chukula Beis Shammai. So it says Mara, Rabbi Yosef said, Taman. There, Tamai Beis Shammai is different. Our Mishnah is Takanat Beis Shammai. You want to say our Mishnah is Beis Shammai? Why did you want to say our Mishnah is Beis Shammai? Because our Mishnah says that in the case where Mekanitor Arusa. So, and then you marry her, so she goes out without a ksuva. I Tzali Beis Shammai says, no, I'm Rabbi Yossi Tama Tamaya Beis Shammai. The other reason Beis Shammai is Domin. They say Beis Shammai. They say that she says, the girl says, Harvali Bailey Vani Shoisa, bring back my husband from the dead. I'll drink. So it's not fair to make her lose a ksuva. But here in the Testament Aleph, Yodasa Yis Shein Arusa Shoisa. You stinker, you knew an Arusa doesn't drink, right? So why'd you have to? Once you accept the kinui as an Arusa, before you got married, you should have asked your husband to be Mavatal the kinui. Since you weren't there, you should have asked him. You didn't. And then you went there, you did stira, you little Rishah, you. That means that you knew what you get yourself into. We're not going to give you a ksuva, right? Why should she put herself in the safek? Because the word is saying this, we're going to pass it from a ksuva, because this means that we're going to get a cycle to her. Now it's interesting. The Yerushalmi says from this very interesting point. The Mishnah Melech says that if you have relations with a woman, and then you're Makadish her afterwards, so you have marriage out of relations out of wedlock, and then you marry her, so you can't give her to drink, obviously, because you're not free of sin, because you engage in premarital relations, but you have to give her a ksuva, because it's your fault. So the Gemara says it's not true. We see that over here. It's just as much her fault, right? Because in this case over here, we're saying that since she should have known better, she loses her ksuva. So there too, she shouldn't have gone out and married him. She should have known better. Since she went out and married him anyway, so therefore if she ever then engages in stira after a kinoi, we make her lose her ksuva. That's what the Sameach learned it. But the truth is it's not 100% comparable. Because in our case, he gave her kinoi when she was an arusa. She could have asked him before she married him to be mevatel the kinui. Since she didn't ask him, it's really her responsibility that she got osir, and therefore she shouldn't get ksuba. But there, once you have relations with your husband before marriage, even if you both become bali tshuvim, tzadikim, gemurim, that blemish always stays on you, and that the Sotah waters can't check you. So there, she really couldn't be masaking herself. So it's not fair to penalize her over there. I don't know if the Yerushalmi is correct, but it's not fair to penalize her over there, because what's she going to do? Over here, she could have been masaking herself by telling her husband, her fiancé, to cancel the kinui. If she didn't do it, it's her fault. She should lose her ksuva. But there, it's already like beyond repair, because they had premarital relations, and that's a blemish on their record forever. So therefore, since that's a blemish on their record forever, what's she going to do? So therefore, if she does get married, and she does get into a compromising situation, it could be Shitaka doesn't lose her ksuva in that case. That's my reputation.
Now, excuse the vernacular, they're shacking up.
I knew you were going to say that.
Dr. Laura.
Yeah.
So
When you say, you have to say Dr. Laura Shlita. Yes? Only for you. Yes.
So can he give her quinoa?
No.
Right. So that's
No, but you can't even give a kid if they become BTs.
okay.
They become big Bali Tshuva. Too bad. Can't do it. It's a blemish. It seems that way. It seems a blemish on the record
There was
forever.
a case today on Dr. Laura where they were
Of Sotah.
and because of her listening to the program,
Yeah.
she decided she wanted to get married to the guy. They got married.
Oh, well, live happily ever after. Okay, the tape is about to end, but I didn't realize it would go so. All right, what can I do? We'll have to stop. So it says somewhere, a Rabbi Yehuda boy, commodite, I didn't bring extra tape with me. Everybody, commodite mer tamon. Like, by the time I go and get one, so it's too late. So it says, my Rabbi Yehuda boy, commodite mer tamon, he asks, just like we said over there, kines ishto. Bikines ishto. It's now again, according to the Pnei Moshe, dashing the extra S. According to Kormei, we're dashing the fact that it says kines ishto twice. So in this we dash, I feel mikzat ishto. Even if she's only a little bit his wife, you can already do kinui, right? The Kavaso, what do we do with tachas sheikh? Do we say tachas sheikh means I feel mikzat sheikh, even if he's a little bit her husband? Now, Lord Sameach gives a very interesting shot on this. He says, what do you mean a little bit her husband? The Gemara maybe will say that there's even stira by an arusa. Why don't we say that? Just like we say tacha es ishto, right? Es ishto means if you mikzas ishto, there's kinoi, bikini es ishto. Let's say tachas sheikh means even if she only quasi husband, there's also stira. Why stop with kinoi? Do stira also. How you say by Narusa is also stira. So it says it won't work. Hechavira. How do you want it to work? Kini lo darusa. You want it to be Makani when she's still Arusa. V'kinso, and then he marries her. V'nisra, and then she gets stira. Takemashko sokanuya. It's already a wife at the time of the stira, right? Kinulo there shemeres yovam, seiti kinulo shemeres yovam. V'kinso, and then he marries her v'nisra. Takemashko sokanuya. That works as well. So what case do you want to tell me from Taxi Sheikh? Kinulo odarusa. They did. He was